Hey, before we get going on today's video, I just want to tell you about this new shirt, the limited edition vintage moto shirt at DylanTalksTone.com. It's a Dylan Talks Tone shirt, but we're doing something a little different with our merch. I'm doing maybe one a month or one every other month. Kind of a special edition shirt that's only going to be up for a short time, and it's going to be based on my photography and digital art. So I took this picture at a museum a couple of months ago, turned it into a thing, put it on a shirt, and now there will be a link in the description of this video where you can go and order this shirt for yourself. Get it before it's gone, because there will be another one coming soon. All right, let's do this video thing. Well, what's going on, y'all? This is Dylan Talks Tone, and today we're going to talk about strings again, but I'm going to show you something really cool. This is my 1985 Japanese Fender Stratocaster. And it's got the really cool Kaler Series 1 tremolo on it that you can't find parts for anywhere, believe me. It's actually got my first original, years and years ago, Stratocaster pickups in it that our current design is actually kind of based on. Changed a little bit, but anyway, so that's pretty cool. And I mean, I've had this thing since I was 13 years old. This is my first electric guitar, actually. And it was my dad's before that, and I'll never ever sell it. This is the guitar I'll never ever sell. It's killer. It's still my favorite Strat to this day. I've played a lot of really nice Strats, but this is my favorite Strat to this day. I absolutely love it. Anyway, I don't play it. I don't very often. I don't bring it out with me when we're on these long trips with the motorhome. And so today what we're going to talk about is boiling strings, because allegedly Eddie Van Halen used to actually take his strings off and boil them and put them back on the guitar. And I'll tell you a funny story. My dad used to do the same thing too. He actually used to leave the coils on the ends of the strings and not trim them so that he could take them back off and boil them. And what's that supposed to do? Basically just remove all of the grime and dirt off of the strings and make it sound better and make it sound kind of new, and then you get more life out of the strings that were on your guitar. So today we're going to do that. We're going to attempt to do that. These strings are very old. I think they're just regular Ernie balls. They've been on here forever. They're pretty dead. This is what they sound like. Because I have Spurzl tuners on here, I think I'll be able to actually undo the strings, get them off the guitar without ruining them. If I can't get them all off without ruining them, I hope to get enough of them off to at least make the point and see how they sound. I have no opinion either way, but I think one of the things we're going to try to figure out on this is this worth doing in 2020? You know what I mean? I mean, I know Eddie Van Halen did it, but is this worth doing in 2020? That's the question. So let's go ahead and whip these strings off of here. This time I'm not going to just cut them because we got to reuse them again. Let's get it going. Okay, so the strings are off. Having Spurzls obviously makes that way easier. You can tell they're dead. You know, they don't have any of that like new string kind of jangle to them, even handling them. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna coil them all up, kind of about like that. And then we're gonna boil some water and see what happens. I will tell you, this is going to be a 5-string test because, as I kind of anticipated, the high E string broke. The strings aren't corroded, they're not rusted, they're not in terrible condition. They are just old. These strings have probably been on this guitar for, I don't know, probably almost a year probably, because I don't play this guitar very much. If you go back on our channel and look, the last time I used this guitar in a video is probably the last time I used this guitar. So, yeah. All right, so we're not using tons of water, just a little bit in a pan, because obviously strings aren't huge, but that'll at least give us something. And yeah, this will be an interesting experiment. I can already say, hang on. I can already say, having been 7 minutes into it, that I don't know that it's going to be worth it just based on time alone, because I think I could probably have a guitar strung this quickly already. But let's just see, in case you can't buy strings for some reason, how much difference it makes. All right, so looks like we got ourselves a good boil. I'm not exactly sure how long we cook strings for, but let's get them all the way in there. And I'm also kind of curious as to how dirty the water is when we're done. I'm not really sure how you... Put in the comments if you've done this before, how long you do this for. I have no idea. It probably doesn't need to be boiling that much either. Do you use like tone water, or like is there some kind of special tonic we're supposed to use for this? This kind of messing around is way before my time. All right, so I'm not really sure how long this is supposed to be, but I would assume that a few minutes is probably enough. And then I would also assume that you don't want to grab these things out of here with your hands. So we'll put those over there. They don't look any cleaner or any different. Maybe we need to boil them longer. Literally, I don't know. So we're gonna boil them just a little longer. I just feel like there's nothing different about them yet. And honestly, I'm not even saying that I could actually see a difference, if there was a difference. They just look the same to me, so I'm just gonna give them a couple more minutes. Okay, so let's take these out of here. This sure seems like a lot of work. All right, so here's the strings. So let's unwrap them and maybe run them through a paper towel and see if any dirt comes off. How about that? I mean, there might be some dirt that came off, and there might be some dirt in the water that we don't know about. All right, well, I'll reserve judgment for the sound, and of course you will hear the before and after of it as well. Okay, so 2 out of the 6 strings survived, which doesn't bode well for the success of this as like something that you would do on a regular basis. There's a couple of notes that I would make about it. If you wrap the strings up a certain way, you could probably get them in and out of there easier, but not all guitars are going to be able to do this. I was going to do this experiment on my acoustic guitar, but I have a pinless bridge, so there's no way that I could get the kink through the bridge. It's kind of the same problem here, is I actually have to bend the string back straight to get it through the kink and get the kink, you know, that goes through the tuning key, through the hole in the back, through the hole in the bridge when you're putting the guitar back together. It just doesn't really work. These strings were not rotted, they were not rusty, they were not corroded, they were just dirty. And it was like basically impossible to get them back on there without breaking them. I got 2 wound strings out of the 6 total. That being said, We're gonna go ahead and tune those 2 wound strings up the best we can, and then we're going to listen to it and see if those 2 strings sound any fresher or better than they did. It won't be optimal because there's only 2 strings, but we'll see what we can do and just see if those 2 strings even sound any better. Even though I don't know that this is very sustainable, but we're here, so let's do it. Final thoughts. We're doing this outside because Leslie is in a conference call and didn't want to bug her. So now we're sitting outside and somebody's motorhome is beeping. I don't know what that is, but anyway, final thoughts on this thing. So I don't know if you heard it, but I definitely did, and felt it too. The strings were cleaner. They definitely were a little fresher sounding. They did not sound like new strings, but they did sound a little better than the old before I did it. The problem is there's only 2 of them. So should you do this? I think the short answer is no. For $5 or $6 a set, change your strings when you feel like they need to be changed and buy new ones. Is everybody going to be in a position to do that all the time? No, probably not. But you can keep your strings clean. We'll leave a couple of products that we really like to keep your strings clean in the description of this video. Basic string cleaners. And here's the other thing, is just wipe your strings down every time you use them. Play your guitar with clean hands, and your strings will last a lot longer and you won't have to deal with all this mess. There are certain guitars that it would probably be easier than others to get the strings on and off without breaking them. But anytime you have that kink in the tuning key, then you have to bend it back and get it back through everything. You're weakening the steel that's already been worked so many times by the time it got there that when you bend it backwards, it just breaks off. So it's kind of, it doesn't, honestly, it doesn't make sense to me. So I would say, on the whole, I would not recommend this as a practice. I know Eddie Van Halen did it, RIP and all that, but I don't think it's in 2020 when strings can be gotten in the mail for a few dollars a set. We'll leave some links to our favorite strings that we've found lately below that you could try. And I would definitely say just keep your strings fresh. Keep them clean and keep your hands clean when you play. My name is Dylan. This is Dylan Talks Tone. Make sure you check out our live show on Thursday. That has been really fun and it's growing and there's more people watching it. It's awesome. Do me a favor and share these videos. I'm on a quest over the next year to expand the educational portion of this channel to as many people as possible, and I need your help to do it. So if you like and subscribe, even if you don't subscribe, that's okay. But if you like the video and share it and comment below, that's awesome, because actually YouTube shares our videos more when you do that. So that really does help us. So I really appreciate that. And then of course, when you use the links that we provide below at no additional cost to you, that helps us out too, you know, as we go along in this journey. So thanks for hanging out, and I guess we'll see you on Thursday.